Welcome to another episode of So It's Not Just Me. I'm your host, Joanna, and today we're going to talk about something that isn't really spoke about much, but I think it needs to be. And for that, I'm joined by one of my wonderful family members again, because I hijack all my family members. This is my cousin Sophie, and we're going to talk today about not having children, but by your own choice. So, Sophie, do you want to introduce yourself and let us know
Yeah.
why you're here?
Yeah, so I'm Sophie. I just wanted to kind of discuss the topic of being child free by choice because I think the conversation is always heavily aimed at people who can't have children, which is obviously absolutely awful. Um, but the last couple of years, I've really been getting into kind of finding out about other people who are in the same situation as me and realizing that it's not just me. Like there is a lot of young people that are deciding not to have children now for various other reasons. But it helped me a lot when I saw other people talking about it, and it helped me feel like I'm not being selfish or, all these stereotypes that go with somebody who says, actually, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So
Did you always feel like you never wanted children?
no. Well, it's difficult because I don't know.
Okay.
You get, I had a boyfriend at school, we left school, we got a house, we got engaged, and it's just always in your head, well, that's what you do. You get married, you have kids.
Yeah.
And um, that's why I find it really tough now to think, did I actually ever want it? Or was it just what I was kind of on that path and that's what everybody's doing? So it'd be weird if you didn't want to do that.
Yeah. It's
So yeah, I don't know if I ever did want them. I think I'm starting to realize now that I've always felt this way. I've just
okay.
never really explored it.
Yeah, I think it's something that society kind of drills into you that you leave school, you have a boyfriend, you get married, you have kids, you grow old together, whatever, 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 which isn't really reality nowadays. It's not
No,
as
definitely not.
plain sailing as that for sure. Um, so have you you say you started talking to people and things. What was their reaction? How had they felt the same that they were also like trapped in this, like a cycle of what to expect?
There's there's a real mix. So there's the real angry kind of um you can't convince me that you actually like having kids. I'm not that person. Like I see people who are just born to be mothers and they're doing great, and yeah, it's really hard. Of course it is, but that's what they want. And I'm not the sort of person who sits here and goes, my life's amazing because I've not got kids. My life's amazing because I'm doing what I want to do,
Yeah.
and that's it. So you've got a real mix of people. You've got the people who just hate children, I think, and they just think my life's amazing and yours is rubbish. And then you've got the other people who are saying that it's okay, which is my sort of people, it's okay to not feel like being selfish. And it doesn't make you any less of a woman, and it doesn't make you immature, and it doesn't make you scared of responsibility. And that's the kind of positive side of it's mainly been on TikTok, to be honest, that I've seen stuff. Obviously,
Okay.
the beauty of the algorithm, once you like a few videos, more start coming
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
And there's the people who say, right now, I don't see myself having them, but they're a bit more open to it, maybe. But there's a real mix of people, but the people I've swayed towards are, you know, the people validating my feelings really selfishly, the ones that are saying, "Don't worry about it. You're absolutely fine."
Have you been made to feel like you're being selfish?
Oh yeah, God, like I went through a stage of just kind of not talking about it because I just couldn't be bothered. Like the argument and people. What I find really sad is that if you can't have children, it's like people don't carry on the subject.
Yeah.
But when it's your choice, they just can't accept it. They just won't
Yeah.
take it. So it's like, oh well, you'll never have a love like it. You'll never feel a love like it. Honestly, it's like making out that my life's going to be less because I'm not having a child. Um, or you'll get people who say, you'll change your mind. You've got
Yeah.
ages. You've got ages. You'll change your mind. Even my own dad was like, once you hit 30, and I was like, literally on my 30th birthday, like, so when's it going to kick in? Because I don't feel any different. But yeah, he was like, when you hit 30, women's bodies, and obviously my dad and my stepmom had a child later on,
Right.
in life, so they, my stepmom did get those feelings late on in life when but I still think that is down to the relationship, and she'd never had a child, but she did always want them, and that's the
Right.
difference. I don't. So,
Yeah.
and then some people, the worst one for me is when they say that, oh well, and I've only had this once, but somebody said to me that maybe like my relationship with Nathan, maybe he's not the one
Oh,
if you don't get that feeling with him, and that, yeah, that really pissed me off.
that really gets me as well because it's like just because you could have the best relationship in the world and still not want it, but that's as if they're kind of saying that you're there to provide a baby for
Yeah, or
XYZ, and that's your job, and
yeah, or if
that's not the
if
case.
he's okay with that, if he's okay with you not wanting children, then does he? Are you the one for him? And it's like men don't pick their partners based on a woman being able to breed with
No,
them. Like,
no,
it's not. We're not a pack of lions.
no, no, exactly, and I completely agree with that. Like, me and Kyle obviously are trying for a baby,
Yeah,
but that's our choice. But we've also said if we don't have a baby,
that's
we have a great
okay.
relation. Yeah, we have a great relationship, so we don't need that baby to complete us.
Yeah,
And when you said about people saying you'll never feel a love like it, that is awful. I think that's one
yeah,
of the worst thing people can say to people.
yeah.
And it's a different kind of love. It's not the best love
It
you'll
is.
ever feel.
And when people say like, I get that they're coming from a good place, I really do, but I think there just needs to be a little bit more, because even the fact people asking you, oh, are you going to have kids then? Like, imagine, I can imagine that you've had that conversation so many times where it's like, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
trying, and it's actually really difficult subject to talk about to somebody who I don't really know that well.
yeah,
So I think that conversation should just be, unless you really know that person and it's something that you're comfortable talking about, it shouldn't even be, one, it shouldn't even be brought up. Two, it definitely shouldn't be argued about. Like, it should
no,
be enough that now I don't intend, and that's something that I learned from someone once actually. So my dad's friend, he got out of a divorce and he was having the same conversation because he said that he didn't want to ever get in another relationship. He was like late 50s, maybe early 60s, I can't remember. And he said to me, if you ever want to shut down an argument, you know, forget about your pride. You don't have to, you can just say, right now, I don't intend on doing it.
yeah,
And they're happy with that because in their head, they're still right because you might change your mind.
yeah.
So if I'm having whatever sort of day and I really can't be bothered to get into it, I will just say, oh, I don't really intend on having them at the minute, and just leave it at that.
It's not fair though to put you in that situation where you have to say that. People should respect your decision to say, I
Yeah,
don't want kids. It's not
yeah,
on my path. I don't want that.
yeah,
And
definitely.
I got a lot of the time, oh, you're so good with kids.
Oh,
Well,
I get that, and
fine.
it's like I'm not a monster. I don't
No,
hate children. I just
no.
don't want one of my own.
Yeah, I mean, I can be great with kids. It doesn't mean that I want to have kids right now. Again, this is just as a hypothetical because obviously I do,
Yeah,
at some point. But, just because you're great with kids doesn't mean you want to then bring up children.
I would say that that's one of the reasons that I don't want a child, because I know that for whatever reason, through my upbringing or how I've been with kids that are already in my life, I wouldn't be able, I would be like Momzilla. Like, that child would be my life. And I'm just not
Yeah,
willing to do that. Like, I've just got so much that I want to do. And I, the thing for me is when people say, oh, what about if you regret it? And I was like, I've said to Nathan, if I get to 60 years old and we're probably sat on a beach somewhere at this point, hopefully, um, I'm going to look back and say, yeah, maybe we could have, but we've still had a great life. It's not like
yeah,
I'm not having a child and also not enjoying my life.
yeah.
So,
We kind of joke a lot that we're either having a baby or buying a beach house. And that's our joke. That is our, if we don't have a baby, it's fine. We'll buy a beach house. It'll cost the same. And
yeah,
they'll both give us as much joy.
yeah,
And I think that's kind of where you're coming from. You can have so many other things in your life that bring you joy. It
yeah,
doesn't have to be a child.
yeah.
Like
And I
you
think like
say.
I'm doing so much, like I've done so much mothering already, whether it's friends' kids, my niece, my nephew, obviously Nathan's got kids. He's got grandkids who
Right.
have all been born while I've been here, bar one.
Okay.
So like I've got that kind of fix of, babies who love me unconditionally, like
Yes.
children that look up to me like I'm, you know, a responsible adult. I'm getting all that from other avenues in my life, and I don't think it should be that should be taken away from you.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Can I ask, and you don't have to name names, is it the older generation that kind of assume that you'll change your mind and you'll regret it, or is it
Yeah,
same
I
kind of
would say
age?
it's women.
Okay.
Okay, so I work in logistics and I work with basically lorry drivers all day long. You'll get the odd guy who I would say is a little bit more in touch with their feelings and not afraid to be kind of softer. And they'll say things like, just yesterday we were discussing this at work actually, and one of the drivers said, I'd be lost without my kids. I absolutely love it. Um, but it was said from a good place. It wasn't, oh, I've had another guy say to me what we said before, oh, you'll never know a love like it when that baby's in your arms, your life changes. I'm like, I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm
Yeah.
saying that's what I don't want.
Yeah.
But then the majority of guys are kind of, good for you. It's nice to see it. You don't really see that very often, but you're sticking to your guns. Good for you. And then, but it's women. I would say it's 95% women, and 100% of those women have already got children.
Right.
They're the ones that are really like, what do you mean? Like, it baffles me.
Yeah.
I've got
I
so
don't
many people in my
understand it.
life as well, like you, obviously. Every single woman in our family has had problems or have not been able to have kids.
Yeah.
And they should be, not should be, but you would think they would be the people who were most against it, because you'd think, well, I can't, you can have, well, I don't know if I can, but you're choosing not to, and it's all I want. But actually, they're the most supportive because they're the people that are probably having the same conversations and the same judgment as what I'm getting.
Yeah. I
It's
know
just a
that.
different answer.
Yeah. I know that. So I know she won't mind me saying this. Cherry, when she adopted Claire, a lot of the time people assumed that she couldn't have kids.
Yeah,
And that's not the case. That's not why they
yeah,
adopted Claire. She's always wanted to adopt. And it's weird how people put their own stories into their heads about
yeah,
everyone's situation. And that's just really unfair. But
yeah.
I am glad that you feel enough support from us lot that
Oh
it's
yeah, I mean,
okay.
even if like the what a lot of my friends have said, like, oh, Tina on about my mum, she'll be gutted that you're not giving her a grandchild. At the beginning, when I first told her, she was a little bit like that. She was like, "Oh, I'd love for you to have a," because I think as well the dynamic when it's a grandma, and so obviously my brother's got kids.
Yeah.
It's always kind of the mum's nana that is the go-to, because you're the one up in the night with the baby, and you're the one ringing your mum saying, "Please come and help me."
Yes.
So I think my mum always kind of like, oh yeah, but if you change your mind, it'd be nice because if you had kids, we could go out together and blah blah. And then I think as time's gone on now, she's like, do you know what? I could do with a break. She's got two great, like, thankfully my brother's kind of satiated that grandchild's hunger. And then she's like, do you know what? Actually, when Heidi and Max have grown up a little bit, it can just be us.
Yeah. And does she want to do that again with a newborn?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, so I've had a lot of support. My dad, like I say, my dad still says to me, you might change your mind, and I'm like, yeah, well, if I do, that's okay. But like, that
yeah.
kind of just settles that conversation. But as long as I'm happy, my dad's happy, so that's fine.
I think that's the way with most dads. As long as you're happy, they're happy, and they can see
Yeah,
that you're happy. So that's good. Um, so because you don't have kids, do you find that you have that extra freedom to do whatever you want to do when you want to do it? And how is that? How
yeah,
does that
that's
influence with your friends and family as well? Because I found with me not having kids, we can just up and go whenever we want. We don't have to think about a babysitter. We don't have to think about packing a car full of stuff to take with us. We can just say,
yeah,
okay, like we went to Miami, let's go to Miami for the weekend. Okay, let's go to Orlando for a few days. We don't have to think about anything. Are you finding
yeah,
like those kind of things? But then we
yeah,
can't
and
really invite people with us because they're like, oh well, we've got the kids to think about and we
they're
have
at
to be at a
school.
certain time
Yeah,
and
yeah. So that part of it is, I would say, the biggest factor for me now. Now I've kind of got over the confusion of not wanting kids, like that started. earlier on. So, not having that feeling when you get given a baby, and not looking at my partner and thinking, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we had a baby? I had none of that. I've never felt it ever. Um, and I know that I had friends who were trying for a baby, and it would be the dreaded pregnancy announcement, someone or whatever. And she would say, my heart, it just like feels like someone's punching me in the stomach every time I see somebody else has had a baby. And I was like, I don't get that.
Right.
Obviously, I'm not trying for a baby, but it wasn't, even a feeling of, oh, should I be having a baby because they've had a baby? And I think that's what a lot of when you're in your 20s and everybody's having babies, that's when I thought it would kick in, and it just
Right.
didn't. And I thought, so once I got over the fact of actually maybe you just don't want this, that's all right. Once I got over that, then I thought, right, okay, so what are you going to do with that? And then I started going on all these holidays and kind of just really trying to make the most of the fact that I have got all this freedom. And now Nathan, before he met me, obviously was absolute workaholic, and wouldn't ever just rest. And now he's kind of come down to, and we're going on 4 or 5 holidays a year. And my biggest goal, it wasn't to earn a certain amount of money or have a certain, it was always to be able to be in a situation where I can always say yes if I want
Yeah.
to. That is my dream, and I'm there now. Like, anything that I want to do, I can make it happen,
Yes.
and I've not got anything stopping me. And I feel for people that have got kids, and obviously my brother, who I want to spend most of my time with, and my brother's family, he's got kids in school and a teacher wife, so
Yes.
that's really difficult. But you work around it, and I make the most of my time when I can, and I work around them for them. The thing that I've found most difficult, I would say, is the friendships, because now I saw a video about this on TikTok which made things so much more clearer for me, when she said that the pregnancy announcement thing, you don't get that feeling of sadness for you. You have almost like a feeling of grief over your friendship. And it's so true, because if what like my friends, when they get pregnant, especially if they've been trying, I'm so happy for them, like genuinely am. But I know that our friendship's never going to be the same again, and it's
Yeah.
not a bad thing. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. It's just kind of grieving that friendship that you had and moving into the new phase, because I don't want to go to a soft play with you and your kid on a Saturday. As much as I love you and your child, it is not how I want to spend my day off. So
That sounds
and
like a
then
nightmare.
yeah, and it's balancing that when your friends have got kids as well. When they do get a free night, they want to go out and they want to party, and it's like I'm not in that phase of my life. So it's just trying to balance it. If your friendship's strong enough, you'll get through it. If it's not, it will break it. But that's from me taking a stand of, I'm not going to just do what you want to do because you've got kids anymore. I did
Yeah.
that, and it doesn't make me happy. So it's just balancing it. But if you care about each other enough, you can definitely find a balance. Like I say with Michael, my brother, and Nikki, you just have to make it work.
Yeah. We found that when we came to England, we came over Christmas and we didn't see half the people we wanted to see, but we were there and Cherry was there with the kids and Beth and Ryan came over at the same time. So all of us were together, like the first time in maybe 5 years. We were all in
Mm.
under the same roof, which was great. But we found like we needed a break from the kids
Yeah,
to start with, and we needed a break to be able to um, just do something that isn't around somebody else's schedule.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's the hardest thing for us is okay, we want to do this thing, it's going to take all day. Well, we have to be back for nap time. We have to be
Yeah.
at the hotel for it's the same with Carl's family, they all have kids. So we have
Hmm.
to be in a certain place at certain times so that the kids can have a nap. Well, that's ruining your whole
Yeah.
day.
Or it's like
You've got
when
all
you
these
decide to
plans.
do something and you decide to go somewhere, or say, okay, so what we're going to do today? It takes an hour to leave the house because it's
Yeah.
like the packing, the stuff, and like we've done a lot of trips. We've done quite a few trips with my dad and my stepmom and my little sister. So my little sister's only four, I think. Terrible sister alert.
Gosh.
But yeah, so I've got a toddler sister, but we also, there's only 10 years between my dad and Nathan, so they get on really well. Me and my stepmom get on really well. And then luckily my dad's child is just unlike any child I've ever met. Like Florence, my sister, she's so chill, and but I think it's as well because she's been brought up around adults a lot.
Right.
Um, but we did a holiday to Sicily with them when she was tiny, and they're still definitely there, like you say, with the nap times and stuff like that. But it was okay. I think when there's a big group of you and there's multiple kids and there's multiple parenting styles and stuff like that, that's when it can get a bit kind of crazy, because some parents obviously are doing it different to other parents, and then the kids are on
Yeah.
different schedules. But yeah, it does get tough. I mean, obviously Nathan's done it all. He's been there, worn the t-shirt. So if anything, he's probably got a little bit more patience than me, because he's kind of like, yeah, this is how it goes.
When you obviously decided that it was, that you don't think that you want to have kids, how did you feel approaching Nathan to tell him that? Was you nervous bringing it up to him, or did you know that it would be okay?
I knew that it'd be okay. As I said earlier about obviously me being in a relationship with my school boyfriend, like that had been a heavily talked about thing when we broke up. So I was very conscious when I went into my relationship with Nathan, not just because of his situation, obviously, and being older and having his own children already, um, but for my own peace of mind, I just thought, right, I'm not messing around anymore. Let's get everything on the table. First date. They're like, what? And I remember he said in the beginning, he said, look, if it's something that you want to do, I'd be open to it. But if you don't, that's all right. I've got some, like, whatever. So I always knew. And I really do think that conversation is what then allowed me to really think about, what do I want? When you're actually in that situation where you've got a choice
Yeah.
and either's okay, then it's real. And that's when I started thinking, oh, what if I've never wanted it, But that, luckily for me, that part of it was really easy. He was obviously fine with it.
Yeah.
He still won't get the snip though.
Just in case.
Just in case. I'm like, come on, please make my life so much easier. He's like, no, I'll just give it a few more years.
See, we had the conversation really early too, but I was always told back in England that I couldn't have kids, or if I could, it'd be a real struggle, which has obviously proven to be the case. And a lot of the relationships I was in broke down mainly because of not having kids quick enough. Um, so we'd had the conversation really early too, and I think it's healthy to do that.
I think so. I think when you
Why?
when
Why?
you're in a situation in your life where you you're an adult, and we're all adults here, like, I made sure that I was I was in a place that I was ready to be in a relationship when I got with Nathan. So I was like,
Yeah,
look, I'm in this now, so like, there's no point wasting time, a year down the line, and then we're not on the same page. And people said I was crazy and I was going to scare him off, but it worked.
yeah. Like I said, we did the exact same thing, and mainly because obviously we were long distance, and
Yeah,
I wasn't going to waste my time doing long distance for, in the end, 18 months. And
not a pen pal, like.
yeah, yeah, I don't need a pen pal. I needed a
Yeah.
life partner, and if he wanted kids within a certain amount of time, or never ever wanted kids, I needed to know that
hmm
straight away, which it worked great for us. So
Well, he did
I
say that to me when we first got together. He said, look, if you want to do this and you want to have a child, because I was the one that brought it up, and then he said he was open to it. And then he said, however, you know, you need to get a move on, because I'm not getting any older. I'm not getting any younger.
yeah,
And then that's when I was really like, whoa, whoa, I don't want him yet. Do you know what I mean? So then that was kind of him saying to me, you need to really think about what you want.
yeah. Do you think? And then obviously, like, family have become more accepting to like child-free lifestyles because they understand it, and like you say, a lot of women in our family have had issues with being pregnant, getting pregnant, and things. Do you think
Mhm.
society is becoming more acceptable to child-free lifestyles?
I think society's making it harder to have children. I mean, we've got Nathan's son lives with us. He's 23, and for him to go and buy a house is just it's impossible.
Yeah,
And do you want to? And without not me being horrible, because I love him being here, and where I can help him, we will, because he's got a good job, and it's not like he's just lounging around, like but he's saving while he lives with us, which is what everybody's doing. Do I really want to bring somebody into it? Almost feels like the set up to fail,
Yeah. Yeah.
and people will say to you, yeah, but when they're older and they've moved on, you'll get your life back. It's like, no, I don't think I will, because my dad always said, you don't stop being a parent. Like,
No, no.
you don't wake up on your 18th, on their 18th birthday, and your job's done. It just doesn't happen. I still need my dad. I still need my mum. Like,
Sophie,
that's
I'm
just
40 next year. I ring my mum and dad every other week and I'm like, hey, can you help me with this? I
yeah,
need some advice on
100%.
this. I'm always in contact with
Yeah,
them about
and
something that I need.
exactly. And then obviously, in a literal sense, it's getting much harder for kids to be independent. Like, I went to uni to move out. Like,
Yeah.
that's a massive decision to make. That was the most viable option for me to get some independence. And it's just so impossible. And I think society's making it a hard place to live. So I think that's naturally making people question whether, I mean, I remember when my brother and his wife were sitting down and having a conversation whether they could afford to have a second child. I
Yeah.
mean, that to me is mental. You've got two people who have got a child already, who have both got really good jobs. They've got a mortgage. They're in a stable situation. They're great. They're obviously obsessed with being parents, and yet they're talking about money as to whether they can have a child.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind.
Yeah.
And that's why I think society are becoming more accepting, but because they don't have a choice.
Yeah. We did the same, like, similar thing. It's obviously we're doing the fertility route, so it's costing a lot of money anyway. But even bigger picture, we're renting right now. We want to buy a house. And it's like, well, can you afford to pay this mortgage? Well, we pay double of that in
In rent.
rent, so of course we
Yeah,
can. Well, why
yeah,
haven't you saved anything? Because we're paying double the amount of
yeah.
what a mortgage would cost. So you're right. Everyone's set up to fail. You're never going to be able to get anywhere unless you
Hmm.
know you're you're going to your parents for
Yeah,
help and
100%.
support. So you mentioned that you found some people on TikTok, and do you know what? TikTok is like the best thing and the worst thing at the same time. But when it's
Yeah.
good, it's great. Not at 1 o'clock in the morning when you're still doom scrolling, but
Yeah,
it's the
no.
best and worst at the same time. Do you interact with these people, or is it just somebody that you've been able to
Um,
find that you can look at for help and advice?
Yeah, so obviously I've followed a couple of people, and as I said earlier about the algorithm, obviously I like their videos, and then other like-minded people are coming up. I've used it quite a lot to explain to people, like my mum loves TikTok, she's always on her phone, and sometimes I'll just send her a video and be like, this is me. This is
Yeah.
exactly how I feel. And that's not because my mum doesn't get it, it's because I can't say it. So it's like
Yes.
I've found so many videos on TikTok that I've been like, oh my god, yes, you've put it into words, thank you. So it's like that side of it's really helped me. And like I said earlier, just knowing that there's other people out there that are feeling the same, and these people that are saying, don't feel guilty, because there's a million people out there that are doing the exact same as you.
Yeah.
And obviously you see the joke ones come up now, where it's like a picture of like an Aperol spritz next to a pool, and it'll say like this and never having kids, and I'm like, yay.
Yes. That's
I don't have to
me.
feel guilty about saying it now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think as well, anyone who doesn't know our background, our family are from a very close knit mining village, and
Hmm.
that's what you do. You get married, you have kids, and you get married and you have kids, and you get married and have grandkids, and
Yeah, like they took the phrase "it takes a village" and made it an actual thing.
yes. And I think that finding these people, like I say, TikTok is wonderful for this kind of thing, where you can realize you're not just the only person who feels
Yeah,
like that. That is great. That's really
it's
good.
it's felt weird, like, because our family's so big but so close. And
Yes.
then obviously some people have gone on to have kids and it's stayed the same, and that's amazing because like all the kids are close and stuff. But it's also nice that like I've got Emma, so
Yes.
it's like
Yeah.
me and Emma are both obviously child free and are
Yeah.
always going to be. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have that kind of little buddy who's
Who
there,
gets
like
it?
family. Yeah, and
Yeah.
like at family events and stuff, you'll usually find us just creeping off into a corner just so we can have 10 minutes on our own.
Yeah. We want to be child free all the time.
Yeah,
Let them go over there out of the way.
we'll be the fun auntie and then we'll go.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you feel about being referred to as the fun auntie? Are you happy to be that, or
I mean, I'm definitely, when it comes to like Michael and Nikki, they will all joke that I can't be. I'm not like the crazy like animated. Let's play make believe. I am the auntie who used to walk in hungover, sunglasses, like, okay, what are we doing today? But it's a bit different now because I've moved away, so I'm not there as much. But I
right?
remember when Heidi was young, I was there almost every day, and I formed such a bond with her when she was little. But it was very much like Auntie Soph, and she knew that when I was there, it was like fun, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't mind it. I obviously it's different with them as it is to like Nathan's kids, for example. So like with Nathan's kids, as time's gone on, I have. I mean, they'd probably kill me if I said this, but I do give them a lot of advice and stuff. And obviously, they're in their 20s now. So the youngest is 15. But when I feel like being a step parent is like you've still got the mutual respect that they've got with their
Yes.
dad, which I have. I'm not afraid to say I have. But sometimes it's easier just that that person's not your mum or dad to have those conversations.
Yeah.
So they'll come and we'll talk about things that they don't want to talk to their dad about. They'll come and talk to me, and I'm so glad that they feel like they can do that. But that's where I do think sometimes when I'm feeling a bit like not on the fence, that's the wrong saying. Sometimes when I'm feeling like guilty for my decision, I'll think, actually, you're doing all right. Like, you are impacting children, like, not children, but people's children. You're
Yeah.
impacting people all the time. You don't have to give birth to somebody to have an impact on their life.
Yeah. It's
So, yeah,
still in a way like a parental role, whether it is your child or not. It's still
I think it's Jennifer Aniston. She's always been like in the press for not having kids. I'm pretty sure she's wanted them, but she's just never been in a relationship long enough to kind of get there, or a relationship stable enough. I don't know, but she's always said like, "What? Why do you assume because I've not given birth that I'm not mothering? Like I'm mothering
yeah.
all the time, every day. I'm nurturing and I'm loving and I'm around people who I'm having an impact on their life."
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I think as well being so if you think about like your age to Nathan's kids, it's a nice dynamic. Like I feel somewhat similar with Cherry. Even though I don't have a kid, I've always parented as such, like nurtured
Yeah, yeah,
with Cherry,
mm,
like questions when she couldn't ask her mum. It's the same with you and Mike,
yeah,
when you've not felt like you can ask your mum or dad something, you'll go to your big brother or sister, and
yeah, yeah,
that is kind of a way of being nurturing.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
don't have to
definitely.
be
And like I said earlier about Nathan, like he's bless him, he's literally worked and been a dad. That's
that's
kind of
all his
it,
life.
really. So when it comes to anything else, I'm the person who I've got more experience. So when it comes to, and a lot of the time it's about relationships or, you know, things, and it could be anything, but although he's 16 years older than me, some things I've got more experience in, and I've
Yeah.
got a bit more empathy and I can see both sides. So yeah, it's definitely our dynamic in this house is unique, but yeah, I'm happy with it.
It sounds like you make like the perfect team, like the perfect
Yeah,
dynamic, how it all fits together. That sounds ideal. Absolutely
yeah.
ideal. Last question I've got for you.
hmm
If you could go back and give yourself a piece of advice about this, what would it be?
Um, Stop trying to. Okay, let me think about how to put this. If I was to speak to myself at 19, I would say keep doing what you're doing, keep enjoying your life, but don't don't stop doing anything because you think that you need to settle down and get married and have kids and whatever. Actually think about what you want. And if you can express what you want and people around you will support you, then they're the people you need to keep in your life.
Yeah.
But don't people please, and don't don't think you've got loads of time. And just because I used to just say, oh yeah, it's fine, and before you know it, you're 23, and you're in a house and you're engaged and you're talking about kids, and it's like, whoa. So like, just do what you want from day one. And if people agree with you, then they're the right people. If they don't agree with you and want to leave, then that's fine. I've lost friends, I've lost all sorts. It's just, that's what happens. But ultimately, do what you want to do. Yeah, definitely.
I like that. Thank you so much for coming to talk to me today.
It's okay.
Have I missed anything that you think is important to keep in there, or are you good with everything I've?
No, I'm good. Literally, if one person looks at this video and thinks, that gives them the confidence to actually turn around and say, hang on a minute, no, this is not what I want, this is what I want, then
Yeah.
we've done a good job, haven't we?
And that is my goal with every single episode, every single podcast, every single post I put out there. As long as I can connect with one person and make one person feel less alone, then my job
Yeah.
is done. So thank you so much. Anyone who's still listening, thank you for being here. And until next time, thank you.